All right, August 28th, recap the stream this morning. No news on today, Monday, 8/28, so nothing to really get the markets moving. We're gonna have to sit and wait patiently for things to pick up and wait for our first setup. Looking for an entry short here, got value area high, and there's a few other reasons on the ES that I was liking for a short. End up getting in short here, hoping for an immediate push. Things don't really move very quickly off of this value area high, so I'm kind of getting a little impatient. Normally when I enter, it's in a spot where it's either going to bounce quickly or not at all. So typically, if it doesn't go right away, I'm not sticking around to find out what it's going to do. If I enter based on it bouncing off a point and it just kind of sits here and goes sideways for a few minutes, I tend to think that I'm wrong about the trade. Whether I'm right or wrong is pretty irrelevant. I'm looking for the bounce off that point. If I enter short and it doesn't bounce off that point, I'm kind of less interested in the trade at that point. So end up sitting here through a little bit of chop. Finally get a little poke down and just end up bailing out of the trade. Small profit, basically a break even, and move on to the next one. Alright, looking for a bounce off the value area low now. As you can see, it absolutely ripped straight down to the value area low. Like I said, would have been nice. It was a really good trade, a really good entry. It just didn't go right away. Started losing faith in it and just bailed out. So ended up going long here off the value area low. Got a quick immediate pop, kind of like I was talking about earlier. I'm bailed on that one a little early again, but with the day's range, the 15-minute range there, I was more interested in just taking the profits, not finding out whether it was going to get rejected. Then get back down to value area low, where I'm now looking at this thing's going to break out to the downside, take a short on the breakout. Got a decent initial push, not a ton of follow through. So didn't stick around to find out what it was going to do, just took my small profits pretty quickly. Turned out pretty good. It was a good breakout, but that initial push and then bounce was enough to get me out of it. End up looking for a long back inside of value area high, thinking we're going to at least rotate up to that range, the top of that range that sits at the 15-minute range. And it was a really good trade, but the way I entered it was in a break back above the value area low, and my stop loss is way too tight to be playing breakouts. There's just no room if you're chasing a breakout, which is kind of what I did. Chasing the breakout back inside the value area low, it retraces a little bit, stops me out, and then rips. So it sucks that I ended up losing money on the trade. It was a good idea, good in theory. I was right about it, but just not enough wiggle room, and it stopped me out. So we get short the top of that little range we were just talking about. It's basically forming a symmetrical triangle. So I got short at the top, and really good entry, just looking down towards the value area low, maybe a poke below it. And I'm not really getting any of my targets filled today, but making progress, taking smaller profits, and this reaches down to value area low or just below, I'll be looking to get out again. So we push down to the psych level around value area low, and I bail on that one. Nice little profits, nothing crazy, but slow and steady today. Now we end up at the top of that range again, short again, the exact same trade as I just took, and scalp that one, even smaller profits, but nonetheless profitable trade. Now it's around noon, and that ends up being it for the day. It's hard to see on my editor, but I think it was $3.95. 5 trades, so about 25 in commissions, so good day. Really spent the past little over a month reevaluating my strategy. I really started struggling again there for a minute. Between working on the strategy and the setups, the discipline to sit and wait for the right trades, and then most importantly, really working on my losing days. You know, I really struggled with hitting max loss on my losing days, and for the past 2 weeks I've had one losing day each week that I controlled to under $500 in losses. So that was my goal, you know, instead of getting ripped for 1,000, trying to control it and get out of there for as little as possible. That $400 to $600 range seems to be a fairly reasonable point if I just don't have it that day and things aren't working out. So that's what happened Friday. Recovered a little bit today, and we'll keep it going this week hopefully.